Hello all. Today I will be talking about the various types or variants of Monstera Thai Constellation. I think there's been different types of Thai Constellation, such as the Legacy, White Snow, Green Snow, and everyone is just really confused about it. So in this episode of Blooming Mindfulness, I will be talking about the different types. So stay tuned if you want. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Blooming Mindfulness. If you're new, thank you for coming, and if you're returning, thanks for returning. So in today, I would like to talk a little bit about the various type of Thai constellations. So in the market, there has been quite a number of new variants, such as the Legacy, Green Snow, White Snow, Platinum, etc. And more recently than not, a lot of Thai constellation calling themselves Special Select has been appearing. So today I would like to talk about it. How should we view it? This is my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. Really, it's based on what I think should be the correct way of dealing with the different variations of Thai constellation. So without further ado, let's start off. So first things first, what is exactly the Thai Con? So the Thai Con is a short form from the name Thai Constellation. So constellation, as we know, talks about the stars. So basically it is a Monstera Delhi that has got white flecks on it. So these white flecks, right, actually looks like stars. So hence the name Thai Constellation. And from what I understand is that it came from TC, is actually a mutation from tissue culture. So in fact, all the variation that we know, Legacy, White Snow, Green Snow, Platinum, etc., all came from a type of mutation, right? So when a plant actually mutates to be special enough, the lab would go, okay, wow, this actually looks great. Let's actually take it, TC it, make clones of it, and we give it a new name, right? So if I'm a scientist and then maybe say out of the thousands of hundreds, and then I see this beautiful leaf, okay? And I think, okay, this looks very much different from the normal Thai constellation. I'm going to name it something. It could be Crème Brûlée, how about tiramisu, or whatever on earth you want to name it, you know. And then they will tissue culture it, and then they will release it in the market with a very fanciful name, and there you have it, you know, the various Monstera constellations. So today I am going to walk you through, firstly, about what are the different variants. Let's take a look exactly how different they are. Let me know your thoughts. This is really based on my observation. I didn't really read it up, you know. It's just based on hearsay, what I observe, what I think it is, and what are type of variations I've seen. Alright, so without further ado, let's do a comparison and let's trash it out today. Let's go. So starting off here, we have a wide variety of plants. All these are all the different types of Thai constellation. I might be wrong, but from my research and talking to people, they all originated from mutations of Thai constellation. Okay, so many people have this confusion of exactly what are different types and how different they are. So today we're really going to take a look at the various types from my collection. Alright, so starting off here, we have with us something that we all are very familiar with. Okay, this particular plant over here. Okay, so this over here, I'll give you a minute to think about what exactly this is. Alright, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is actually, if you're thinking Crème Brûlée, yes. So in recent times, there have been a lot of more affordable Crème Brûlée actually appearing in the market. But in all honesty, I don't find their variegation that good. So for this particular Crème Brûlée, as you can see, a Crème Brûlée, in my opinion, a good Crème Brûlée should have very nice defined patches of white creaminess, vanilla colored leaves, okay? They're very distinct, okay? So hence the name Crème Brûlée, okay? So how does this differ to others? Let's take a look. So right over here, I have with me, what do you think this is? Let's put it next to the cream. Alright, so straight off the bat, you can already see, while the cream has more defined patches of yellow, this plant over here has got a more powdery consistency, right? Very powdered, very fine variegations. And if you take a look at it, I would say that it's on a greenish side. Look at it, this is a new leaf, right? It's got a green hue to it, very powdery, very green. So what it reminds me of is the green snow. And so if you're thinking, is the green snow? Yes, this is the green snow. Alright, so after introducing the green snow, of course we have to go to the white snow, right? So this over here is one of my favorite Monstera now, because it's so big and gorgeous, is the white snow. Right, so the white snow is said to have, it looks like a white snowstorm because of the various patterns, like as if, like, you know, the snowflakes, it's like a snowstorm. Right, so this is the white snow. But in all honesty, if you ask me, I would think that it bears very similar, close resemblance, alright, to parts of my crème brûlée. If you take a look at it, so I'm just going back here, right? Okay, just that my cream is more defined. It's got very nice defined yellow, you know, grey color kind of patches to it. Whereas the white, alright, it has got a more powdery, white, silverish kind of pattern on it. So I guess that's why this is known as the white snow. And then over here, right next to it, let's see, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think about what this is. Zoom in and take a look. Okay, so if you're thinking this is the platinum, you are right. So with me over here, I have with me the Monstera Platinum. So as you can see, the platinum, somehow or rather, is got a rather silverish sheen to it, very fine powdery variegations once again, unlike the crème brûlée. So this is something that is very strikingly different. Okay, when you compare the platinum to the white snow over here, which has got pretty white defined patches, and to our crème brûlée right over here. Okay, and then of course we mustn't forget our legacy, right? So we have Monstera Legacy over here. So this is a legacy, all right? So if you ask me personally, for legacy, I find that it's got a good balance of silver, right? Silver, yellows, green, but the variegation of it is really very powdered. It's as if you take 3 different types of sand or powder and you mix it all up. And then after that, it gives you that kind of very nice, powdery, streak kind of feeling to it. Right? This is in contrast with your crème brûlée over here. As you can see, it is like flecks, you know, very, very defined flakes over here, as compared to your legacy, which is actually very, very powdery. Okay? Now, then finally over here, I have to prepare you guys first. It's not the prettiest plant, it is not. But you know what? It is what it is. Okay, now right here is my favorite plant. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't exactly been the greatest. So as you can see over here, my poor plant has been burnt. I didn't cut any of it off because I believe, you know, plants, well, they brown sometimes. They do. Now this was actually doing very well under east sun until the weather turned really warm, and that's where it started to brown. Okay, and the latest leaf is just absolutely wonderful. Okay, now so many of you will be asking, thinking in your head, so what exactly is this? Well, I can tell you that this is what we call a Thai Con Special Select. So a special select doesn't mean anything. It just means that out of the thousands of plants, okay, it looks very nice. It's got very nice, consistent variegation. So because of this really nice variegation, these are priced at a higher price. So in short, if I am a researcher and I clone these plants and I actually find this to be somewhat of an interest plant, okay, maybe because it's got like this really distinct stripes, okay, and I decided that, okay, it looks like a zebra and I call it Thai Constellation Zebra, okay, I could clone this plant and then after that sell it to everybody as Thai Constellation Zebra. That's obviously not the prettiest name, but you get my point. Okay, so this is what they meant by special select. It is different enough from your typical Thai Con. So what exactly is your typical Thai Con? My apologies, I don't really have a typical Thai Con at this moment to show and compare because mine just rotted yesterday. For whatever reason, it just decided to rot. And that's something that I want to talk about when it comes to care of these plants. But basically, a more normal Thai Con would have this kind of flakes, okay, all right, without the white patch over here. So it just looks something like this. So something that is a bit more special will look like this. And I'm hoping that the next leaf that is coming out, please look something like this or this, all right, and that's what I'm hoping for. So now let's go back to talking about care and price. Hi. Okay, so now we're back. Thank you for taking a tour of my various Thai Con Monsteras that I have. So let's talk a little bit about care, about this type of Thai Con. How do we care for them? Now, if you don't already know, Thai Cons they are quite notorious for root rot. So it is extremely important that you remember to give it a lot of aeration, whatever you use. Personally, for myself, I use something known as semi-hydro mix, and that's because I do not have to worry about overwatering. Okay, so when you use a semi-hydro mix, you will realize that I'm using like a stone kind of like lacquer, you know, just stones, different types of stone. You've got lava rocks and everything else. So because the stones are rigid, they have a lot of empty spaces that allows the air to flow through, and the pots that I use actually have aeration at the sides over here, okay, and in the center. So this actually helps with the airflow, okay, and then my roots ultimately will grow into the water, but that's fine because these roots that grows into the water, they are actually adapted for water growth. Okay, so they will not rot in the water usually. I must say the word usually because a lot of time people would put a lot of definite definitions like, oh, it definitely won't rot. Well, I can tell you that after using so many types of substrates and everything else, nothing is for sure. It just lowers the possibility of it. Okay, so I use semi-hydro because it has been working for me. All right, and I water it with nutrient solutions such as GT Focus as well as root foliage focus as well as root zone. Now let's talk about light. Okay, this is something I want to talk about. So a lot of people will go, oh, what's bright indirect sunlight? Now the indirect sunlight, in my opinion, just means that it shouldn't be too warm. Right? And when you think about it, a lot of people would say, oh, you know, we should just put the plant at one spot, the bright side, and then let it adapt and let it burn, and then ultimately the leaves will come out stronger and then it will stop burning. I would say that yes and no up to a certain extent. Well, when you think about it, right, each of us as a human being, we are genetically different. So it's the same with plants. There is only so much that they can adapt to. Because after all, don't forget, this plant was never meant to be in a house. It was never meant to be exposed to bright lights at very high, heat. So if you're going to throw it in the west sun, you're just asking for trouble. Even though I know some growers, they would say, oh, no, mine never burns. But to the extent, we really don't know how much that is the truth, how long the grower has actually put it there. So my honest opinion is that you have to look at the plant and think about it for yourself. So for example, this plant, it was doing fine in the east sun, and then after that it started burning. I decided to put it under grow light. Okay, so this leaf came out under grow light and nothing is burning. Okay, when you think about it, these plants are artificially selected, or rather they are selected from mutation, so they don't really grow naturally in the wild and they are not exposed to strong sunlight. So why should we subject them to extreme strong sunlight, okay, if we can provide them with an optimal growing condition? Because they are selected, they probably would need a selective environment in order to survive. So if you have grow light, I can tell you that the plants that are growing in under my grow light, as well as bright indirect light, grows the best. So what exactly is bright indirect light? Now, bright indirect light, right, could mean a few things to different people. For me, it would actually be next to a window that doesn't have the sun shining directly at it. So for me, I put plants like this one over here. So this is my green snow. It's looking perfect because it is at the top shelf, all the way at the top, whereby the morning sun cannot reach it directly, but it's right next to a window. Okay, so it's really bright light without the sun shining directly at it, and it does not have any issues. And I also find that it depends on how much green your plants have. So things like my Crème Brûlée, okay, because of the white patches, I'm not going to put it in the east sun. This also sits in the same area as my green snow, whereby only bright direct sunlight, no direct east sun even. But if you take a look at my white snow up here, because the amount of green is actually quite a bit, I actually can afford for it to have direct sunlight. In fact, this plant over here was placed in direct west sun. Yes, it was direct west sun. It gets full-blown sunlight. Yeah, more than half the day, but it's fine. It's happy because of the amount of green. And one other thing is the thickness of the leaves. So unfortunately, you're just going to trust me. The thickness of this particular white snow is really thick. It really feels like a typical Thai Con, right? So it doesn't burn. However, for my special select, for some reason, it feels thinner. It does. It's just not as thick as the others. So perhaps maybe it's because these plants are not matured yet. So maybe if I let it grow up for a few more leaves and it becomes bigger, it will develop that kind of really thick leaves, and I would not have to worry so much about burning. And then perhaps I could put it into direct east sun or maybe even west sun, depending. So really for Thai Con, there's only two things that you need to take note of. Number one, make sure you give it plenty of aeration. Alright, for the roots, they are very prone to root rot. Two, put it into bright light away from direct sun. If you want to try direct sun, yes, but bearing in mind two things: thickness of the leaves as well as how much green there is. The more green, the more thick, probably, the more direct sun it can take. And test it out for a day or two, no browning and everything else. Oh, okay, that's great. You can put it in direct sun, no issue with that. If it starts to brown, move it away to somewhere that is less heat, okay, but keep it bright because they love bright lights. Now let's talk about the last thing: pricing and how to select for Thai constellations. I'm going to exclude your typical Thai Con because in fact they all originated from Thai Constellation. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how you should go about choosing. Now, with this type of variegation, many factors actually comes into play. And if you ask me, the number one thing would be pricing, the size of it, as well as the origin of it, and the variegation. So let's talk about the pricing. How do we actually justify the price? Now, to look at the price, we need to look at the size as well as the variegation type. Now, a crème brûlée, so for example, like my crème brûlée over here, okay, this I would consider to be a very nice pot of crème brûlée. I'm not really, telling you this because, it's my plant. Alright, so I'm going to explain to you why. So a good crème brûlée should have blocks of white cream, like these, and like this one over here, very distinct patches of yellow, alright, that actually intersperse very nicely. And the whole plant actually looks very balanced. So this is something that is worth buying and going for. And the one thing I want to tell everyone is spend a little bit more to get a plant that is of a very nice variegation and not something that is actually cheap and poor variegation, right? Because the time and the effort and the size that you will be spending on growing up this plant is the same, right? So go for good quality variegation things. And the next thing is what everybody is talking about is types of variegation in terms of half moons. So if you manage to find a half moon for this kind of special Thai Con, grab it because it is very rare, especially consistent ones. So far I know that there is someone with a half moon legacy. That's great, go for it. Okay, and what other things to look at is the colors. So basically, if it's a green snow, you want it to look like a green snow, all right, looking nice and green with very powdery features, okay, that looks like green snow literally, okay, because the green itself, okay, looks like the powdered snowflakes, okay, like icing sugar, all right, but instead of icing sugar you have green powdered sugar. Okay, so if it looks like that, this is what you want to look for in a green snow. So pricings are very subjective. Here's the thing, with special select coming in, that makes it even more difficult. I can tell you that this special select, if you ask me to rate it, I would say that this and my crème brûlée is of the same type of, is of the same caliber. Why? Because my crème brûlée is really nice, right? I mean, let's agree it is what it is. But my special select, just take a look at it. I mean, sorry for the burn, but just look at the leaves, right? So even though it's not a cream, I would say that the value of this is actually quite high. I remember for this pot, I paid $160 for it about 5 months ago, and everybody on that sale on that day was really keying in the code so fast that we could hardly breathe. The minute I saw, I hit enter on that code. So I was very lucky to have it. Okay, so I'm really thankful for it. Despite it being burned, the next few leaves should be beautiful. Okay, so it really depends. So for a crème brûlée of something like this, of this size, I would say that you should be paying at around probably $350, no more than $400 thereabout for this quality. I have seen creams that are a lot bigger than this going for only $280, but really ask yourself, you want people to be able to tell that you're having a crème brûlée, right? Yeah. So for Legacy is still very expensive. Legacy is the Legacy, okay? So the Legacy, for me at least, you should be looking at something that is has 3 colors in it. Okay, silver, yellow, and green, and they are very powdery, really very nicely, mixed in, all right, such that they all look like powdered versions of the different types of sugar, and they're just mixed in together. Let me just show you that. Okay, yeah, so something like this size that I have, I bought this at let me see, $480. No gatekeeping. That's the price that I paid because I was vigilant. Literally, you would need to keep a lookout for what is in the market. So recently, the prices of legacy has gone up and down, but it's slowly trending upwards. So this was a good deal. Okay, I was lucky that day. I have seen prices when I was buying this, same size going for about 1,000 plus. Literally, they look similar, same size, 1,000 plus. So when I saw this at 490-ish, I grabbed it, without hesitation. Yeah, my friends were like, going, grab it, So I did. Everybody froze. I mean, 490 is still a lot of money. But when I think about the $1,000 plants, okay, forget it. I'll just take it. Something like this one over here, the white snow, probably around 380 to 400 plus for this size. I got this as a much smaller size. The biggest leaf that you see, this is the third leaf that it actually came out when it was with me. So a lot of my special selected Thai Constellation, Legacy, White Snow, Green Snow, Platinum, I got them when they are a baby. So this one over here, that is actually the Platinum. I got it as, I believe, okay, that it was a tea seed version and not a cutting. Really, literally, it came out from a bottle because it was so small, alright? But I grew up and it looks beautiful. And one thing about TC is that when you think about it, they will only select the best mother plants to actually tissue culture, right? So why would they want to select something that is not of the top quality? Because then after that, the efforts is the same, but the outcome may not be the same. So the one thing good about TC plants is that you are essentially getting supposedly the genetics is supposed to be the best. However, I must warn that even with tissue culture, many people think, oh, it's an exact clone. But you know what? Mutations are random. They could mutate during the tissue culture process, and that it is what it is. And with a background of, by the way, I majored in biological sciences, so with that I actually do know about genetics and everything else. It is really random. It is what it is. So that's all I have for you in this episode. I hope that you enjoy content like this. Let me know what you would like to hear from me next, and I'll be happy to share more with you so that we may learn more together. Thank you so much, and till the next time. Bye bye.